Ladies and gentlemen, gather around for a tale of two slackers who took a backyard game and turned it into a national sensation. On my way to the ballpark this week, I stopped off at the video store and I rented BASEketBall. So lace up your sneakers and grab your best friend's beer and get ready to laugh. I'm Kevin Porter, and you're watching Video Rental Chaos. BASEketBall is a cult classic that revels in its own ridiculousness. If you're a sports fan or just in a good mood for a laugh, this film takes you on a wild ride. So let's shoot for a home run on this one and jump right on into BASEketBall. Coop and Doug think they're being cool by crashing the college graduation party of an old high school friend. After being shunned by the entire party, Coop and Doug end up outside on the basketball court drinking beers. A couple of their old classmates think it'd be cool to challenge the two to a game of pickup basketball. Thinking on their feet, they challenge them to a game they picked up on the streets. Even though they are making it up as they go, they turn out to have a pretty awesome game put together and go on to destroy the two preppy dudes. Even though they did not get the girls, Coop and Doug decide they need to take the game of baseball and basketball and combine the two sports to create BASEketBall. Once they add Squeak to the team, the neighborhood phenomena begins. After winning the inaugural championship, billionaire Ted Denslow pitches the boys the idea of forming a National Basketball League, NBL for short. They want to make sure they don't run into the same issues that have plagued other sports for decades. As with this new sport, anyone can be a sports hero. Flash forward 5 years later and BASEketBall has swept the nation. We see the Beers and the Felons taking on each other in the Denslow Cup. With the winning run on the line, Coop is psyched out as Denslow is shown choking on a hot dog. At the will reading, it's noted that Coop is now the new owner of the Beers. But it's laid out that if the Beers don't win the Denslow Cup the following season, the team would then be given to his widow, Yvette. During this time frame, Coop is in love with the head of the Dream Come True Foundation, Jenna Reed. They begin to take a liking to one of the kids, Joey, as he's a big fan of Coop and the Beers. We see that Baxter Kane, who is the owner of the Dallas Felons, wants to move forward with taking away the old rules that were causing everyone in the league to not make a lot of money. He now just needs to get Coop to be on his side, but Coop does not want to play ball regarding the rule changes he wants to put in place. They take Joey out on the town as they do a bunch of stuff that they would normally do during the day, like getting drunk before the game. Coop promises to hit 3 home runs, but unfortunately only does 2, but it's okay because Joey doesn't die after all. The Beers continue to win and are moving towards the Denslow Cup. Kane tries his hand at convincing Doug to help convince Coop. This causes a big issue, but ultimately Coop offers Doug and the rest of the team part ownership. Now, the next step in Kane's scheme is to pull the funding from the Kids Foundation, thus forcing Coop and the team to start their own clothing line in order to keep the foundation afloat. Well, this proves to be an issue as Kane has set the team up by blackmailing them into losing the Denslow Cup, or he would go public with the information that their clothing line was being produced under child labor. Jenna learns of this scandal and breaks up with Coop. This then puts Doug and Coop at odds as they both blame each other for what happened. Needless to say, at this point, the two are no longer best friends. Coop tries to save the day and travels to the factory and cleans it up by replacing the child labor with adults. Coop shows up right in time for the championship game and the team is hyped. Going into halftime, they're down by 16. It seems the tensions are still very high, but Squeak comes through and rallies the troops and gets everyone on the same page. This leads to Yvette breaking it off with Kane also. The Beers go on a bender and are back in position to win their very first Denslow Cup. This is until the original Lazy Boy ball pops right at the wrong time. Right in time though, Joey and Jenna all show up to root on the Beers after seeing the unsolved mystery story earlier showing how Coop cleaned up the child labor issues. They give Coop a new ball and he plays out his dream, and gets his moment in the sun like he always wanted, as the Beers upset the Felons and win their very first Denslow Cup, and thus they now get to keep the team. Jenna and Coop are back together as Doug and Squeak all get their ladies. Well, not so much Squeak, but he seems happy, so that's all that matters. BASEketBall is one of my all-time favorite comedy films. I remember vividly when this movie first premiered. This was back in the day when we were always sneaking in rated R films. It really irritates me to this day that I did not get to see this one in theaters, as we were prepped to do so, but the kid I was hanging out with at the time got cold feet, and we ended up watching Small Soldiers that afternoon. Now, no shade against Small Soldiers, but it's no BASEketBall. Before I watched this movie again for this episode, it really had been a long time since I'd seen it. I think one of the coolest parts though about this movie is the fact that Real Big Fish is the house band for the Beers. Obviously with the title song Beer, Real Big Fish has gone on to be one of the most iconic ska bands of all time. And I really think that BASEketBall helped them get to that next level. Plus, if you're a sports fan, seeing all the big name announcers playing such silly roles is a lot of fun. Matt Stone and Trey Parker as they continue to kill it in whatever projects they are working on. So, like I say all the time, if you've not seen this movie in a while, I think you owe it to yourself to throw on this sports classic. So until the next BASEketBall season starts, I'll see you at the video store.